What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for MLB Monday, April 18th.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon.
so you don't miss our new videos.
In this video, I'm going to go over my top DFS picks for today's MLB slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, we have a 9-game slate here tonight, so let's take a look at the pitcher position. So, we got Clayton Kershaw on the slate tonight. He's the stud. He's not in the best spot in the world, but it's pretty decent, I guess. The only problem is he does throw his worst ball versus righty batters, and he's facing 6 righties here tonight. The Braves have hit 20 of his last 86 pitches. That's a .233 batting average. He's 11,000 FanDuel salary, 700 less on DraftKings, and he averaged 32 fantasy points per game on the season last year. Had an ERA of 3.55. Record was 10-8 on the season, pitching an average of 75 pitches per game. So I'm not absolutely in love with this stud pick, but he's Clayton Kershaw. He can go out there and put up a monster game. So I do like Clayton Kershaw here versus the Atlanta Braves. Now, if you want to save some salary, probably not on FanDuel because he's only 1,100 less than Clayton Kershaw, but he's much less on DraftKings. Take a look at Frankie Montas, and he's pitching against the Baltimore Orioles. And Frankie Montas is giving up a .677 OPS versus righties. He's facing 6 righties. The Orioles have hit 6 of his last 22 pitches. That's a .273 batting average. So he's 9,900 FanDuel salary, but he is 2,600 less on DraftKings. So I like that DraftKings price. And he averaged 35 fantasy points per game on the season last year. Had an ERA of 3.37, record of 13-9. Pitching an average of 95 pitches per game. So those are better stats than Clayton Kershaw. You can get a pretty big salary discount on DraftKings. And Vegas thinks this is going to be a low-scoring game. 7.5 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under. So I like Frankie Montas here versus the Baltimore Orioles. Now, if you're looking to save some salary on FanDuel, not necessarily on DraftKings because he's priced up on DraftKings, but on FanDuel, take a look at Eric Lauer with a 4% pitching advantage here over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Eric Lauer is only giving up a .617 OPS versus righties. He's facing 6 righties here tonight. And on top of that, the Pirates have only hit 10 of his last 43 pitches. That's a .233 batting average. So Eric Lauer is only 7,100 FanDuel salary. He is 1,800 more on DraftKings. So I love that FanDuel price. And he had an ERA of 3.19. Record was 7-5 on the season. Pitching an average of 75 pitches per game. Averaged 25 fantasy points per game. So I like Eric Lauer as a value pitcher play on FanDuel here versus the Pittsburgh Pirates. Okay, let's take a look at the catcher first base position. I like Brandon Belt, and he's got a 54% batting advantage over Tyler Megill. Brandon Belt is batting 13% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .960 OPS versus righties. Tyler Megill is pitching 42% worse to lefties as he does righties, giving up a 1.014 OPS versus lefties. Brandon Belt is 3 for 5, batting .600 with a 2.467 OPS versus Miguel. 2 of those 3 hits are for home runs. He's $3,700 FanDuel salary, $1,400 more on DraftKings, averaged 12 fantasy points per game on the season last year, has a batting average of .274, so I like Brandon Belt here versus Taylor Megill. I also like Frank Schwindel with a 24% batting advantage over Shane McClanahan. Frank Schwindel is batting 21% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a 1.203 OPS versus lefties. Shane McClanahan is giving up a .733 OPS versus righties. There's no at-bats versus McClanahan yet. Frank Schwindel is $2,800 FanDuel salary, $1,400 more on DraftKings, averaged 12 fantasy points per game on the season last year. He's got a batting average of .326. So I like Frank Schwindel here versus Shane McClanahan.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching.
If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal,
all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won.
And we'll send you $25 PayPal.
So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Okay, let's take a look at the second base position. I like Brandon Lowe with a 48% batting advantage over Kyle Hendricks. Brandon Lowe is batting 31% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .907 OPS versus righties. Kyle Hendricks pitches his worst ball versus lefty batters, giving up a .907 OPS versus lefties. He's $3,500 FanDuel salary, $2,100 more on DraftKings, averaged 21 fantasy points per game on the season last year, has a batting average of .247, so I like Brandon Lowe here versus Kyle Hendricks. Now here's a nice value play. I like Colton Wong with a 33% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Zach Thomas. Colton Wong is batting a .764 OPS versus righties, and Zach Thomas pitches his worst ball versus lefty batters, 38% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .907 OPS versus lefties. There's no at-bats versus Thomas yet. Colton Wong is $2,600 FanDuel salary, $1,300 more on DraftKings, averaged 10 fantasy points per game on the season last year, has a batting average of .272, so I like Colton Wong here versus Zach Thomas. Okay, who do we have at the third base position? Here's another value play. Jace Peterson with a 52% batting advantage over that same low salary pitcher, Zach Thomas. Jace Peterson is batting 14% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .752 OPS versus righties, and Zach Thomas, he's giving up a .907 OPS versus lefties. There's no at-bats versus Thomas yet. Jace Peterson is only $2,400 FanDuel salary and only $800 more on DraftKings. Averaged 7 fantasy points per game on the season last year. He's got a batting average of .247. So I like Jace Peterson as a value play here versus Zach Thomas. Another value play here is Ramon Urias. If you're not going to be playing Frankie Montas, I think he's an interesting value play. He's batting 13% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .817 OPS versus righties. Frankie Montas, he's giving up a .677 OPS versus righties. And Ramon Urias, he's only $2,300 FanDuel salary, 1,100 more on DraftKings, averaged 8 fantasy points per game on the season last year, has a respectable batting average of 279. So I also like Ramon Urias as a value play here versus Frankie Montas. Okay, let's take a look at the shortstop position. I like Brandon Crawford with a 67% batting advantage over Taylor Megill. Brandon Crawford is batting 25% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .954 OPS versus righties. And Taylor Megill, he pitches his worst ball versus lefty batters, 42% worse than his other pitches, giving up a 1.014 OPS versus lefties. Now, Brandon Crawford is 0 for 5 versus Megill, but the splits here are fantastic, so you gotta think he's due for a hit. And he's only $2,700 FanDuel salary. Now he is $2,600 more on DraftKings, averaged 11 fantasy points per game on the season last year, and he's got a batting average of 298. So I like Brandon Crawford here versus Taylor Megill. Now I also like Elvis Andreas with a 61% batting advantage over Spencer Watkins. Elvis Andreas is batting 30% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .671 OPS versus righties. Spencer Watkins throws 31% worse to righties as he does lefties, giving up a 1.090 OPS versus righties. There's no at-bats versus Watkins yet. Elvis Andreas is $2,800 FanDuel salary, 500 more on DraftKings. He averaged 7 fantasy points per game on the season last year. He's got a batting average of 243. So I like Elvis Andreas here versus Spencer Watkins.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, moving on to the outfield position. Stud pick for you here, Shohei Ohtani, who's got a 42% batting advantage over Luis Garcia. Shohei Ohtani bats a little bit better versus righty pitchers, batting a .957 OPS versus righties. Luis Garcia pitches his worst ball versus lefty batters, 38% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .865 OPS versus lefties. Now I like this pick because Shohei Ohtani is 4 for 12, batting a .333 batting average and a 1.262 OPS versus Garcia. 2 of those 4 hits are for home runs. He's $4,400 FanDuel salary, $1,300 more on DraftKings, averaged 13 fantasy points per game on the season last year, has a batting average of 257. So I like Shohei Ohtani here versus Luis Garcia. And I also like Bryce Harper with a 45% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Chad Kuhl. Bryce Harper is batting 29% better versus righty pitchers, batting a 1.149 OPS versus righties. Chad Kuhl is giving up a .876 OPS versus lefties. Bryce Harper is 2 for 9 with a 1.189 OPS versus Kuhl because those 2 hits are both for home runs. He's $4,200 FanDuel salary, $1,200 more on DraftKings, averaged 14 fantasy points per game on the season last year, and has a batting average of .309. So I like Bryce Harper here versus Chad Kuhl. Now, I'm just going to go to my watched players list. I'm just going to run through all the players on my watched players list because I didn't give you guys all these guys in this video because my voice, again, is starting to act up a little bit, making it a little bit difficult. So, okay, I've got Jared Walsh, who's got an 81% batting advantage over Luis Garcia. He's 7 for 11, batting a .636 batting average with a 2.052 OPS versus Garcia. He's 3,200 FanDuel salary, 1,100 more on DraftKings, batting average of .277. So I'm happy I didn't miss this guy. This guy looks like he's in a great spot here tonight. Already gave you Frank Schwindel, Brandon Belt, Eric Lauer, yep, he's a pitcher, Frankie Montas, Jace Peterson, Kyle Farmer. So Kyle Farmer looks like a decent value play here versus Sean Manaea. Only 2,500 FanDuel salary, 400 more on DraftKings. Brandon Lowe, Colton Wong. Oh, Michael Brantley. I like Michael Brantley here with a 62% batting advantage over Michael Lorenzen. Michael Brantley is batting 37% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .928 OPS versus righties. Michael Lorenzen pitching 25% worse to lefties as he does righties, giving up a .754 OPS versus lefties. So he pitches his worst ball versus lefty batters. Michael Brantley 1 for 4 versus Lorenzen. He's 2,800 FanDuel salary, 1,200 more on DraftKings with a batting average of .311. So I like Michael Brantley here versus Michael Lorenzen. Oh, and then Christian Yelich with a 58% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Zach Thomas. Looks like there's an opportunity to stack some of these Milwaukee players versus Zach Thomas. Christian Yelich batting 20% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .753 OPS versus righties. Zach Thomas pitching his worst ball versus lefties, giving up a .907 OPS versus lefties. So Yelich is 3,000 FanDuel salary, 1,700 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He's got a batting average of .248. So I like Christian Yelich here versus Zach Thomas. Gave you Bryce Harper, Shohei Ohtani, Elvis Andreas, Kyle Tucker, Didi Gregorius. He could be viewed as a value play here. I'm not in love with the pick, but he's only 2,800 FanDuel salary. And then Brandon Crawford and Ramon Urias.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this MLB slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.